Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're actually talking about nuts and beans. Now, last time we talked about macrobiotics, okay? We talked about yin and yang. If you remember, certain foods are more yang, certain foods are more yin, and it's important that we balance these forces in the body in order to increase our vitality. This is a very important concept in nutritional balancing science. So today we're going to talk about nuts and beans and where they fit on this scale. Now, before we talk about nuts and beans real quick, an important concept is that these yang foods are actually higher in something called etheric energy. And you can think of this energy basically as life force, alright? So when you eat these foods, you're putting more life force into your body, okay? Which is going to give you higher vitality, and it's going to help your body more. So nuts and beans are actually fairly more yin, okay? And that doesn't mean that nuts and beans are necessarily bad foods, but it does mean is that they're lower in etheric energy and they're not going to nourish your body as much as these foods would. We don't recommend that on a program that people eat cooked beans more than 2 or 3 times a week. And then the best way to eat nuts is actually roasted butters. So the reason why we recommend people eat roasted butters, like roasted almond butter or roasted cashew butter, roasted almond butter is probably the best way to eat nuts, is because, first of all, nuts are hard to digest. And if you remember, people already have bad digestion, okay? They have yeast overgrowth, they're lacking minerals that help with digestion, they have parasites, and on top of that, they don't chew their food very well. So when you have all these things, what you have is poor digestion, especially with things like nuts, which are already hard to digest. So with nuts, it's much better if they're roasted, because if they're roasted, they're easier to digest, and also, if you remember, it also makes it more yang, right? Because remember, cooking food makes it more yang. Cooking food puts more life force into the food that you're then absorbing. This is true for grains, for vegetables, and all those things. That's why I recommend so many cooked vegetables. So the best way to eat nuts is preferably also in a butter form. When nuts are in a butter form, they're easier to digest because they've already been processed for you somewhat. You know, it's kind of like they've been pre-chewed somewhat. You can kind of think of it that way. And then when they're roasted, that also helps digestibility. It helps break down break it down so you get more of the vitamins and everything, more of the minerals. And so roasted butters are actually the best way to go. Now, we don't recommend people eat peanuts. I mean, of course, if you eat peanuts once in a while, it's not going to be the end of you or anything like that. But they do have minor toxins in them. One of the big problems you run into with peanuts is the mold. You get mold issues, even if it's high quality peanut butter. If you are going to get peanut butter, the best way to do it is to get the peanuts that are preferably roasted, like I said, and then make the butter yourself. Because that way you won't run into as many mold problems. And, you know, as we know, peanuts aren't actually a nut, technically. They're a legume. But anyways, so the best way to go about it, to eat nuts, is actually, remember, roasted almond butter is number 1, and then other roasted butters, like roasted cashew butter, or maybe like roasted I don't know if you get macadamia nut butter, but, you know, those other nuts, what are some other ones? Almonds, cashews, those are the ones I can think of right now. But the point is that, remember, butter is preferable to the nuts themselves, so a nut butter, and then also roasted. So even just if you had roasted almonds, not even in a butter form, that would still be better than eating raw almonds. You don't want to eat raw nuts. It's very hard to digest. So, yeah, eat roasted butters. Those are the best way to go for nuts. And then with beans, only have them about 2 or 3 times a week, as they're lower in etheric energy and it won't nourish your body as much. Hope that helps you guys out, and I'll see you guys later.